Yo, yo, yo. What's happening in the city tonight? Can you feel the heat, Chairs?
Chairs is over here.
We're here broadcasting live from the Temple of Doom. We got Mola Ram in the back chanting Shamumdiba in people's hearts.
Okay, current events. All I gotta do is break into some sort of a pattern here that we have to repeat. Otherwise, I guess we could talk about anything.
Current events, man.
Garden ants?
I didn't come prepared. I hope you have one. For the sake of continuity.
I think my current event for today was someone took the movie Groundhog Days.
Yeah. The Bill Murray Groundhog Days.
And said, "Have you seen this movie?"
And someone had just asked you the day before.
No, someone asked me today, "Have you seen the movie?"
For real? 2 days in a row?
No, just today.
Oh, okay.
They asked me if I'd seen the movie, and I said no. He said, "Let's watch it." So they turned it on their computer, and we started watching Groundhog Day.
What'd you think?
Well, I've seen it, right?
Oh,
and so
I thought you said no.
It was the equivalent of Groundhog Day for me because I've seen that movie.
So you had seen Groundhog it before?
Day. Yeah, because then my mind is all. It's not really like it's a movie anymore. It's like a rerun, right?
Could be.
Yeah.
I like the rewatch. I gotta give movies like a 2-year space. So same with TV shows. I watch the whole season all at once. Binge, they call it binge watch. You know.
Sure.
And then it's always kind of sad, dude, when you get so wrapped up in a TV show's world if you like it, and then when you get to the last episode, it's kind of like, oh dang, it's almost like a little weird TV family death. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then you give it a few years and it comes back. Like I'm watching Curb Your Enthusiasm right now, and I watched the whole thing from beginning to end a few years ago. But last year, sometime recently, a new season came out, so I started to watch it from the beginning. And I really didn't remember any of them. It was
Really?
nice, yeah. Like I kind of remembered, but it was basically like new and fresh again.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to when Martin resets. I watched the show Martin from beginning to end.
I've never watched Martin.
Oh, Martin's great, dude. Yeah, I like it a lot. I saw this movie the other night. It was called You're Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix. You Were Never Really Here. Have you seen it?
I think I saw a trailer for it. What's it about?
I wasn't really.
Can you tell what it's about without giving away the movie?
It's about this like Joaquin Phoenix plays like this like kind of deranged like hitman kind of.
A deranged hitman.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the movie's like.
Okay, pretend you're pitching the movie to me, and I'm like a studio executive.
Okay.
You got 30 seconds. I'm Bugs Bunny, man. Throw it at me.
I'm sorry I wasted your time. This movie sucks. I'll be back with something better. No, I don't know, man.
What did the movie suck? Joaquin Phoenix?
Dude, I don't like to say stuff
Joaquin
sucks,
Phoenix.
you know?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I do. I used to a lot. But I'm trying to, like, weed
Nothing
it out.
really sucks.
Right. Everything's
Right.
just different, right?
Yeah, everything's different. It's got its own...
Like, even disease. Oh, I got a current events, man.
Uh-oh.
I read this
Disease?
I read this current event, with global warming. As some parts of the earth warm up, it could possibly release ancient viruses and bacteria that had been dormant and frozen for like eons or decades
Excellent.
or whatever. Yeah, man. So that not only will the air be all rubbish, you'll have to deal with some kind of new weird Ebola.
Huh. Maybe we should put more into education and see if we can grow some really smart kids that could actually handle science and biology and solve these critical problems that are going to be encountered in the future.
Grow them in a tank?
But no, let's worry about making sure some guy gets the seat on a Supreme Court. It's like, fuck that. That's a 5-minute decision.
The Kavanaugh thing?
Yeah.
Why are people so interested in that?
I don't know. Well, it's the Supreme Court, basically makes a lot of decisions that impact your life that you don't know about. That's why they're called the Supreme Court.
They're gonna do it regardless of what they show me on CNN or whatever.
Cases.
They do that just to make it look like they care, man. It's a secret cabal of vampires. You know that. What's up? Hey, we're back with the podcast.
Secret Cabal of Vampires. Sounds like that should be a science fiction book. Secret Cabal of Vampires.
Hey, that's what it is, man.
Vampires.
Or like lizard men or something. Something's
Lizard
going on,
tigers.
dude, you know. What's up? What do you think about the close parker, man? I oftentimes park at the back. Like, I give myself like 3 or 4 slots when I'm parking in a parking lot, you know, just to give myself a little distance, you know, get out of the car, stretch, practice some karate moves, whatever, you know what I mean? And so often, man, someone will pull like right and park right next to me when there's like 3 or 4 spots in between us.
Yeah.
The close parker, I don't get it. You know what I think it is? I think it's the whole herd mentality thing. There's some sense of... I think they see me as a leader out there practicing judo moves on the spare tire, and they say, that's the kind of guy I need to associate with. So they park next to me.
Absolutely. I mean, what else should they do? They've got to do
Park
something.
up by the other people up front. I park way in the back, deep. I don't even park in the same store.
Maybe they just enjoy
I don't
karate.
even leave. I just...
If they enjoy karate, they're going to get out wants to watch you do these badass moves.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Right.
Well, I think they saw me on the approach, and then I go in the store after I'm warmed up, you know, and then they park it, and maybe they want to absorb some of that positive flow state.
Sure. Yeah. Like the guy in the store, he gets all the benefit, right? Because you've just walked in there and you've just actually powered through your karate exercise.
Speaking
He's
of
looking at you going, holy gosh, what's up with that guy? Give him some free food.
Maybe, man. I do oftentimes actually get breaks. I don't know if it's because of my karate, but I don't. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, is what I say.
Yeah.
Speaking of the guy in the store, man, what's up with the public speakerphone dude? You seen this guy out there existing?
Public speakerphone?
Yeah, the people that walk around having like a conversation on speakerphone.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the idea there? You know what I think it is? I think it's like a form of peacocking, showing like, hey, look, I've got this technology. I've got a active social life. Everyone, like, you know, look at me. That's what it's got to be. Either that or they just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, this is how I use my phone. Like, I'm just rolling on through.
I'm just right. I'm doing a podcast. That's all they're doing.
Dude, we should do
Maybe.
a podcast live, like while we shop for groceries.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's actually a good idea.
The grocery store. Go ahead.
No, I like that idea. Something about grocery stores. It's just like it's a lot of information to take in.
I know, dude. That's what I was just about to say. Every time I go to the grocery store, I have to like hype up. I already told you I'm out there kicking the spare tires around.
Right.
I gotta like prepare. It's like a weird little carnival in there, man. You know what I mean?
You know, it'd be a good idea.
What?
A city that somehow. Well, no, this isn't going to work. No, it's not going to work. It had something to do with just taking all the fundamental things that you really need at a grocery store and lining them up like so that you could walk into a store and pick all 10 of them like this.
Yeah, man. It's called
and walk
Aldi.
up. Is that well? Do you understand the concept of like picking 10 things and not even have to think while you're in the store?
One step
it's like
further,
the empty head store.
They just give you you just pull up and they load a package
they give you a
with
package.
They kind of already have that, man. Like Simon, I don't know if they're still around, but there's a number of different places that are getting into the online grocery thing. And more people adding it. Like, I've seen a few Cubs that are in the process of adding the online grocery. I know Walmart's are doing it. I think Sam's Club's and all that. Oh, that's kind of one and the same, Walmart and Sam's Club there. But, yeah, man, that's what it's coming down to. You know what it really, if you distill that even further into the future, it's going to be just protein pill. And then if you go even further than just picking up your protein pill, pop it, all your vitamins, nutrients, essential fats. Even further in the future, man, when we're energy beings, we'll bypass the protein pill, man. All you got to do is exist, you know. Which makes me think about that's where we were before we incarnate. Remember we were talking about incarnating here on Earth last episode? I don't know if you remember.
We did talk about incarnating here?
Yeah.
I don't remember talking about that.
Oh,
yeah. Kick it up.
Yeah, man. I was on there. Bow. 5, 5, 5, 5. But yeah, man. Oh yeah. That's where we were, man. We were energy beings before we came to Earth. But it's really boring just being like pure energy where you don't need anything. So like, you know how like you sign.
Wait a second. Back up a second. We were pure energy beings. Where were we?
Just in the infinite, man. Nowhere and everywhere.
No point in the infinite.
We were right here, man. We were nowhere.
We were at no point in the infinite.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's everywhere and nowhere all at once.
So you lose your ability to, or can you? If you're at that point, can you still put yourself in a point in time?
No, because temporal locations are just.
No, we can do that.
Yeah, as
so
humans.
Are we more advanced than them?
No, that's a limitation.
Or is it? Maybe they want to get here.
No, you like watch a scary movie or play a video game that has a time limit or something. Those are restrictions, right? And like you're scared at a scary movie. You don't want to be scared in real life. It's just you willingly go and get scared for a little bit because it's exciting, right? And then you know that you can retreat back to safety. That's what the Earth is, or like a roller coaster. You know, I never really been on a big roller coaster, but I can imagine what it's like. You know, right. I've only been like medium sized ones. I'm not a big ride guy. You know, are you?
No, I get sick if I go on rides. I lose all my balance and equilibrium and get sick.
For real?
Yeah, so I don't go on rides. I've gone on rides. I've gone on Space Mountain in Disney. That roller coaster in the dark. So
no lights at all.
Well, you're zooming around the planets, which you're in outer space. Everything's dark, and you don't know when the drops are coming. All of a sudden, you're just like, you're shooting around Mars over here, and then you can see another planet.
Because when a regular roller coaster, you can anticipate what's about to happen and prepare for it. But on this, it's just...
And that was my first one.
That makes me think of float tanks, man. And I've watched a few, like, documentaries on them or just people talking about them. And a common thing, apparently, is that you lose your sense. You feel like you may be standing up or moving forward. Like, you don't... After a while, it doesn't feel like you're laying down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, a lot of people say they feel like they can't tell if they're upright or what. They feel like they're upright and moving forward.
I wouldn't want that feeling at all.
I don't know,
That's
man.
That's like vertigo, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think it would be as... I don't know, actually. But I'm very interested in experiencing the float tank, you know?
Yeah.
We got to get around to it. We were talking about... I don't know if we were talking about this on air or not, but you and I were talking about doing, like, a podcast while...
in a float tank.
Yeah, from a float tank. But at first, I just want to go in there standard. You know, drop down to my skivvies and just lay in there for an hour, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds super awesome, but then again, it could be like... You know, I kind of liken it... I've never done this, but to like hypnotherapy. Because I believe that there's some amazing experiences in hypnotherapy, right? Like people quit smoking or, you know, you hypnotize someone and make them think they're a chicken and stuff. Like I believe that can actually happen. But I also believe that might not work on me, you know what I mean? Because wouldn't that be weird if someone could like hypnotize you to like every time you count back from 13, when you hit 1, you'll be in a complete state of ecstasy for half an hour or until you count forward back to 13. So you could just bypass chemicals and stuff and use hypnotics to, like, you know, do drugs. Because really when you're doing drugs, all it's doing is filling neuroreceptors that you already have, you know. The drug doesn't come over and build a new part of your brain. It just fills in parts of your brain that's already there, receptive, right?
Yeah.
So like if someone can hypnotize you to think you're a chicken, right? Hypnotize someone, maybe not you or me, but someone. They could hypnotize them to think that they're like totally just in pure like enlightenment mode, right?
They should go for it. Put them in that mode.
Yeah, I mean,
let's do some research, see how long they stay in that.
Because people go there to quit smoking and like you know, for PTSD and stuff.
Well,
why not
switching off a part of their brain?
I don't know what is biologically happening.
What is? I mean, that's the interesting part. Why does hypnosis have a effect on the digital environment of your brain?
Well, think about this, man.
Or is it analog environment?
we can do like slight forms of mental control, mind over matter, because like, have you ever been like scared or like, you know, adrenaline pumping and your heart's beating and you like will yourself to calm down? You're like, okay, and you like concentrate on slowing your heart and you take breaths, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's a form of mind over matter right there, and I think you can intensify that to really do whatever you want, you know, a la the link you sent me, the Wim Hof, you know. I think he's doing...
I think everybody can actually control their brain, actually. But I mean, the idea is that a third party can come from the outside and tell you things, and you then somehow go into a state of mind that is controlled by this person. I mean, where is the digital wireless connection between their desire to keep you in control in your mind? It's being held by your consciousness, right?
Yeah.
That the idea that they must be holding their consciousness is thinking that someone told them this to do this, and they're doing it. I mean, like, what is the...
Well, you have to willingly submit to the hypnotist.
What does it mean to submit? What's the chemical thing in your brain that submit means? Submit equals
well, that's
digital
like,
synapses.
that's like saying what is
thought.
thought. Like, you know, that's the great mystery.
Right. But why is that a mystery?
Because it's like...
No one's figured it out?
It's like a computer making itself or something, you know? Like, we can't... If we knew that, we would have something bigger to think about, you know? Like, if we understood thought, then thought would be irrelevant. It'd be like...
It's not understood, is it?
No, how can it be? What is it? It's like, you know... I mean, we understand like synapse firing and stuff,
right.
But right now we can think of like a purple monkey, like something that doesn't exist, right? We can just create it, or not even a monkey, just like a weird looking animal. We can piece together various eyeballs and like hair, you know, like what is that? You know, I understand.
We can piece that together.
Sure, any sort of creation, imagination.
Anything to deal with
it's
the
like
actual existential existence of this, you know, blob that we are.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're saying. I mean, the whole thing is like what?
Well, imagination is the willful configuration of your physical brain, right?
Right.
But there's a step before the physical formation of whatever makes your brain compute a thought. That's the unknown, right? Because there's a non-physical precursor to thought, like, you know, our intention, our imagination, what makes...
Don't you think your thought is already connected to what's happening?
Sometimes it's just reactionary.
I mean, from the standpoint of like everything's connecting. The thought connects to the thinking that I thought. I mean, it's almost like the future is the thing that actually makes us think we're in the present, but we're actually always living in the future.
No, we're always living in the now. The future and the past don't exist.
The future doesn't exist.
How can it? You can never get to the future.
But isn't the future now?
No, now is now. The future is just a concept of our limited understanding of infinity.
Well, that is basic. No, wait a second. Oh, I just lost it. It said something to do with like, no, believing that the future is ahead of us. We can see the future. The fact that we can see the future means that we can see it.
Well, we make predictions, you know.
No, don't we see, when we make a prediction, don't we see the future?
No, we're just making a calculated prediction. Like if you drop a ball, you know it's most likely going to hit the ground, right? I mean, a lot of things could happen to keep the ball from ever making it to the ground, but we're making a calculated prediction based on, you know, what from the data we've gathered of being alive as a human, that the ball is going to go toward the ground, you know. But a lot of weird things could happen, an earthquake, or like even like something that unexplainable, like the ball could fall into a dimensional vortex, you know what I mean? Ball and chairs.
Ball and chairs. And boats and bears. There's so many possibilities we could have named this podcast. Could have been boats and bears.
Well, for the listeners that don't know, we been doing a band. We still are. We've been creating music under the band name Boats and Chairs, and this podcast is kind of an offshoot from us making music, you know. So yeah.
It's kind of like,
So now you
it's
know.
kind of like the future. Our podcast was, oh, see, I'm way off. I'm trying to get back to these thoughts about the future and now. The idea of new future and now. I'm solely locked into this idea that by saying we're living in the now, when you say now, it's already past.
No, it's still here. It's always here. It's all it can ever be.
Now.
That's part of the limitations of our physical Earth.
I think that we exist in the past, but we think in the future.
But we don't exist. Well, I mean, what? That's like, well, then we get into like ghosts. Like what part of us
What is a
exists in the
ghost?
past? It's a memory. We're not there.
A ghost is a memory?
Our body is not wherever it was earlier today.
But why would a ghost be a memory? Why wouldn't a ghost be?
Well, what do you think a ghost is?
It would have to be some sort of a intelligent being, a force, a composite of molecular structure that said it existed because it has this idea that it can actually express a feeling of fear.
Well, I'm trying to think, man,
Or does it even know it's being fearful?
Right, because one view I have on ghosts is it's residual energy of something very powerful
That's
that
holding
happened.
a thought.
Well, I don't know if it's holding a thought because I'm trying to think. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts that have like people call in and share like real experiences they've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like one of them is called Anything Ghost, and the other one I listen to is called Jim Harold's Campfire, and they're both good, man. People call in and